What's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfella, back with the Boxing Clinic one time for the one time. Dropped 2 videos this morning about Billy Joe Saunders accusing, Gennady Golovkin, Triple G of PEDs or steroid usage or in the past. And I dropped one about Vasily Lomachenko, ducking Orlando Salido. And and then other people talking about it on other threads and boxing groups or whatever. People let the business of boxing, get into the discussion. It's cool to, mention it and be like, oh, this is the reason for that. That's cool. But once you start using the business of boxing as an excuse for a fighter or a boxer, then, what I don't get it. What does that have to do with you as a fan? You know what I'm saying? This one dude, Brantley Davidson, shout out to him. We had a nice little debate. He see it through his point of view. I see it through my point of view. Can't knock him. You know what I mean? That's how he sees it. And, these guys want to, look at boxing through a business point of view. And that's going to be the ultimate destruction and the last shot in the chest for boxing. That's going to be the death of boxing, these business decisions. You know what I'm saying? We had a nice little debate about Anthony Joshua. And a lot of people can't, stomach the fact that, you can say he ducking, Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? People say, you're a Wilder fan. Because I'm black, I'm a Wilder fan. He's a good fighter. I'm not the biggest fan of Wilder. He's not my favorite fighter. But, he's a solid dude or whatever. I have no issue with it. Wilder called, Joshua out for 8 or 9 months. I'm cool with that. Joshua don't feel obligated to fight him. Just say I'm not ready to fight him right now, maybe down the line. Don't be coming in with these built-in excuses like Deontay Wilder needs to fight a better opponent. In my opinion, Deontay Wilder won his belt from a better world champion than Bermane Stiverne did of Djokovic champion than Charles Martin. But that's another story for another day. Basically me and this dude had a little argument over, Anthony Joshua ducking Luis Ortiz. He said, basically, why, Ortiz made the bad business decisions and, this was what Joshua was trying to do. I don't give a shit what Joshua was trying to do. If you made an agreement, your promoter and the WBA made an agreement for you to fight Luis Ortiz, for you to fight Vladimir Klitschko for the WBA belt, and you was going to give that man a title shot no matter what happened in the fight next, why didn't you keep your man as a word? Why didn't you keep your word as a man? You know what they say in the streets? All you got is your balls and your word. Why didn't he keep his word? That's all I'm saying. And then people will say, oh, he pull ups is a bigger pull or, this or that. No. Luis Ortiz was supposed to fight Vladimir Klitschko for that WBA. He been number 1 in a long time or in the top contention for a long time for that belt. He been there. He been working. Been fighting. Whatever you feel about his past, he been doing it. He been working, whatever. And he let that fight happen. People don't listen. They don't read. He let that fight happen. They asked Luis Ortiz, could you step aside and let Vladimir Klitschko fight Anthony Joshua? Because Vladimir Klitschko, wanted to make those millions with Anthony Joshua, and he was supposed to fight Luis Ortiz, but he told Luis Ortiz, no, I don't want to fight Luis Ortiz. I'm scared of you. I know you're going to whoop my ass, so I'd rather fight Anthony Joshua, which I know he's pretty green. He's not as skilled or experienced right now as Luis Ortiz. Not saying that Joshua won't ice Luis Ortiz. I never said that. But, I'd rather take my chance with Anthony Joshua and make $10-20 million fighting him. I feel that. But, the WBA and Eddie Hearns came to my man Luis Ortiz, say, this is what it is. You get to fight the winner. Anthony Joshua or Klitschko, you got the winner next for letting this fight happen. They said, cool. And then the night before the fight, or right before the fight, WBA said he Joshua or the winner can get 1 voluntary defense, to defend that IBF title. That's horse shit. That's some bitch shit. As a man, I'm running back with this man. And then you got people saying that, Orlando Salido hasn't fought in 2 years. I feel that. And, he's on a downslope. But it's always going to be people, even after whatever Vasily Lomachenko did versus Gary Russell, Sosa, Nicholas Waters, still people saying that, he got his ass whooped by Salido. Don't you hear those rumblings? As a man, I feel obligated to, run it back. Even if I know I'm going to win. No matter what form or version of it, I want that rematch. Until I whip this man's ass as many times as possible until I can beat this man. Unless he proves otherwise that I just I don't have it in me for me to whip his ass. In anything. Chess, checkers, 2K, Injustice 2 that just dropped, Call of Duty, whatever it is. I'm a competitor. One-on-one, hooping, football, whatever it is, I want that chance. And they don't make these guys like that, especially in boxing and sports overall. They don't make these guys. They're not cut from that cloth. These dudes are not men anymore. These are synthetic men out here. Lomachenko should want to fight Orlando Salido, to get that revenge. No matter what the weight was, what the hell it was, you put a clause in there. If he overweight, he got to pay $1 million like Canelo. I bet that ass come in on weight. And if you beat him, you beat him. You don't have to hear about that no more. Look at Bernard Hopkins. Many years later, after Roy Jones whooped his ass, a decade or so later, he still came back and wanted to fight Roy Jones no matter what point Roy Jones was at in his career. Because B-Hop is cut from that cloth. He still wanted that rematch. Even though it didn't feel the same as when he lost, but it was vindication. You know, no man can go back and say, you know, that, oh, you know, people gonna say Bernard beat prime Bernard Hopkins, or, you know, Roy Jones beat a prime Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard beat a old Roy Jones. Who gives a shit? You still got your revenge on him. And that's the type of mentality Lomachenko got. People talking about, oh, he wants to step up and make the fight with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is not gonna make that fight this summer. You know what I'm saying? With a top rank. You know, he's not gonna make that fight right now. He's gonna go for Linares and get more leverage on Lomachenko to run up the price. Period. It's gonna be the race. Whoever gets to Jorge Linares. That's what the race is gonna be. You know, Terry Flanagan fighting Felix Verdejo, and they're gonna try to sew up that 135 division. And RC is gonna be able to pay Jorge Linares more money because he got Al Haymon. He pays on PBC. Better platform. Period. You know, why these guys worry about the business of boxing so much? It's good to mention it and dabble in it, but at the end of the day, it's certain shit that a man should do. Keep his word and get some respect. You know, get your rematch, man. These people want to make 1,000 excuses for these boxers. Well, he's not making this, or, you know, that. Fight. Your job is to fight. Worry about the financials later and the business side of it later. You know, people killed Wilder for years for fighting slow fight, slow fight, slow fight, slow fight. It was a design. But now that he's ready, it's all these excuses. Oh, he fought all these bums, or he did all this. Who gives a shit? He's ready now. Fight him, Joshua, if that's the point. I don't care about the business side. Make the fights happen. We gone.